Pony, my favorite place in North Carolina.
Get ready for liftoff.
Hello and welcome to the Ponyverse. I'm Helen.
And I'm Lil Megs.
We actually have a really fun episode for you guys. We did some research.
Yay!
It felt like school. I got really nervous last night when you texted me because I hadn't started. But we're going to talk about the rise and fall of like mall culture and mall brands. Because it's something, I don't know, we thought it was interesting.
Yeah, okay. So actually what spurred this topic is I ordered a bunch of stuff on eBay and the listing said earrings, bulk, dead stock, mall brands. So also this package got lost and I was so upset because I was really excited for it. And I could see one specific pair of earrings, or they were like advertising
Sorry.
Hot Topic or like Rue 21 and stuff like that. And I got one pair of Hot Topic earrings, and we're gonna talk about Hot Topic later on too, but this is the old Hot Topic, so.
And yeah, you researched that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it. But
it's gonna be real fun.
first, I have a story to tell.
Oh God.
Okay, this isn't related to any of this, but I don't have AC right now, and I haven't had AC for 2 days, and it's like 99 degrees in Charlotte right now. Like, it's really fucking hot. And I think I do really well in a crisis. Like, I tend to have a really good attitude about things.
Okay.
Because I was just like, okay, like, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna play this little game with myself to see, like, if I can tough it out. And like, it's been fine. I just put a bunch of fans on my bed and it's honestly fine. But if you're my landlord listening to this, no, it's not fine and you should give me free rent. But anywho, that's not even related to this. It's kind of related, but okay. So this morning, so I'm currently working with a financial advisor and she was like, hey, you should get life insurance. Cause like if you die, or if like something happens, it's like life. And like, if I were to like get in a car accident and couldn't work for like 3 months, it like insures the business and like our revenue basically.
Okay.
Whatever. So part of getting this insurance, like I have to have a nurse come to my house and like check me out. And which like when she first said it, I didn't even question it. But then like later I was like, wait, that's kind of weird. And I was Googling it and apparently it's like normal. And like this lady called me to schedule it last week and it was scheduled for today. And I like didn't really occur to me until this morning, but like I never got like an email confirmation. Like it was just her calling me. Like I didn't even have like a voicemail. Like I just had her being like, hey, I'm coming. And she was like, I can come at 6 or 7 a.m. And I was like, okay. So I had her come at 7 a.m. But then I woke up at 6:30 and I started getting kind of scared because I was like, okay, my boyfriend's out of town. I'm just like here alone. Like if this would be like a really good sex trafficking scheme. Right? Like if like to just come in someone's house and like pretend you're a doctor and then drug them and take them away.
Sure.
So I also was like raised by a very paranoid mom, so like that's where my brain always goes. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like hope for the best. And she comes to my house and it's like this nice lady, whatever, and it's like going fine. But I put my car key in my pocket and my phone in my pocket just in case I had to like make a run for it. And then, so I like pee in a cup, do all this stuff, whatever. And then she like goes to take my blood and she's taking my blood and like, I never have issues with getting my blood taken. Like, I don't know, I've never like had a problem with it. And like, all of a sudden I was like looking at the blood vial and it like wasn't filling up with blood at all. And I was like, what if instead of taking my blood, she's like drugging me? And then I started to get really, really dizzy. And like started like not being able to see, and I was like, oh my god, I'm being drugged. And then I like got up and I was like, and I like blacked out, like my like I was still standing but my like face blacked out, and I was like, what's happening to me, like what's happening to me? And she's like, oh, you're probably just getting like dizzy from the blood. But I like never saw any blood come out. So I run out my front door. I run out of my house and I get in my car and just turn the car on, and that's when I called you. Because I was like, I don't know who else to call right now. And then you didn't answer, so then I called my mom and she answered. And like at this point I was starting to like, I was like fine again, but I was like, oh my god, like I thought I was being drugged. And then
I can't believe I didn't answer.
And then the lady came out of my house And I just like looked at her through the car. I was like, I'll be right back. I'm good. And then I went back in. And then I think I freaked her out because like then I started to feel kind of bad because I was like, oh my God, I hope she didn't think I was gonna like call the cops on her, because like she was probably scared too, because it probably is scary for her to like go into someone in random's house. But then I was like, that's so like girl to like feel bad for like thinking someone. But I don't know. Yeah, like it was maybe me just being paranoid. But like the fact that I like basically I didn't like fall over passed out, but I like couldn't see and was like dizzy. Like I like blacked out. And I also think it might have been because my house was 86 degrees and I had just woken up. But isn't that crazy? And I went back in and she just like quickly like she's like, okay, gotta take your height and weight. Like okay, bye.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? So
you just ran out on her.
No, I literally just ran out of my house, like in my PJs.
Oh my God.
I was like, I gotta go outside.
Wow.
So.
My sister and brother-in-law did that, and she was pregnant at the time, and she didn't know. So they probably found out she was pregnant before she was.
Yeah, they did ask me if I was pregnant.
Make sure you're not pregnant.
Yeah. And no, I'm definitely not pregnant. But what was the other thing? Oh, she also had a backpack that said, it was like in like really cunty like spray paint font, and it was like, I'm a urologist, so I've seen more wieners than hookers.
On her back?
On her backpack. And like I was like, oh, that's funny. And she's like, yeah, she's like, this is my side hustle. My main job is at a urology clinic, and they always think this is funny. I'm like, you carry this to your job? Anyways, she was really nice, and I feel bad now, but I don't know. Like, I do feel like that would be, like, I think because I didn't get, like, an email or anything, and I was, like, Googling her phone number, Googling, like, her name, like, the name of the company, and I couldn't find anything online. That's, like, when I got really freaked out by it, but, like, I'm still here, so everything's okay.
And on that note, we're going to talk about malls.
No, and then I literally, like, went on I was like, I gotta go, like, touch grass. Sorry, our online sales just dropped, and we're making a lot of sales, but we need to turn off we got a new store phone, because the other one was like a Samsung Galaxy and nobody knew how to work it, so we got an iPhone, but it's really loud. Yeah, so then I like went on a walk. I walked to Milk Bread and got a little coffee because I was like, I need to touch grass after that incident. Wow. And then I just went home and got on my computer and researched Abercrombie. I've like been up for so many hours now.
Yeah. I'm concerned.
Yeah, so like it is. Oh, I also bought a guitar yesterday. And I learned one chord.
Did you go to a mall for it?
No, I actually went to the Guitar Center near university. Because shopping centers are replacing malls.
Yes.
Or kind of already have, I don't know. I bought a guitar. I watched a YouTube video. I had to cut my nails because like I couldn't do the like guitar thing because my nails were too long. Like I had to cut these ones. It's really hard. Like the part that I didn't think would be that hard is like literally just like curling your hands around. Like I was like, I can't, like he'd be like, put this finger here. I'm like, I can't even do that with my fingers. But
you played the flute.
Yeah, when I was like 10. No, I think it'll be fine. I think I will become like really good at it.
Okay.
I just gotta practice. I think I'm gonna sign up for lessons. I don't know. I feel like obviously, like I don't know. I feel like this summer I'm like realizing that I can just do like you can just learn anything whenever.
She's 30, y'all.
I'm 30. Yeah, I feel like my Saturn returned and I was like, oh, you can just do anything you want. Like I was like, I'm gonna take singing lessons. I'm gonna take guitar lessons. You know, I can just like write. Okay, we also have been talking about like okay, you don't want me to talk about this?
No.
Should I?
Not we. You.
I have. Well, Maria and Bella are on board too, but making like a Thrift Pony album full of songs like about Thrift Pony, what happens here, how fun it is. She's
really trying to get that multimedia conglomerate.
Yeah, when I said multimedia conglomerate, like I wasn't fucking around. Like this is a multimedia conglomerate. I honestly wrote, okay, so one of the songs is about Polly the Ponyverse and her origin story, and I started to write it, and I actually think it's kind of good. It's like funny.
Okay.
They're like silly funny. They're like Adam Sandler's like Hanukkah song, like that vibe.
Okay.
But anyways, you guys will just have to stay tuned for that. I have to learn how to play the guitar first so I can like put it all together. So yeah, how have you been?
Much better than you.
What do you mean? I'm doing great.
I don't know. Running out of my house petrified is
Yeah, but it like puts life into perspective, you know? Like I was on my walk, I was like, trees are looking great this morning.
I will say my room smelled like doo-doo butthole last night. Like it smelled like actual caca. And I was like, oh my god, did Bella's cat poop in my room? And I was looking all around. So then I lit a candle and the flame got really high and my fire alarm was right above it. So then it set the fire alarm off and I started tweaking and I was like, and I ran out of my room, and then Bella and her man were coming out of her room, and it was the first time I met him. I said, hey.
Wait, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I was like, at least we know the fire alarms work.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, that's funny.
Not as terrifying as yours.
Yeah, but it's nice to just get a little like, woo, gets your heart rate going. We went to Dave & Buster's this weekend.
We did. That got my heart beat racing.
Yeah, Megan and I went to Dave & Buster's and Texas Roadhouse, and it was really fun. I don't know.
Good old time.
Yeah. I feel like this could be a whole nother episode, but I feel like since like not drinking, I haven't drank for 7 months, almost 8 months, and Megan hasn't drank for her whole life. And no, Megan, honestly, like you inspired me like with. I feel like when you don't drink, you find like joy in just like simple things, or just like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, finding joy in more, and I feel like that's like this year since not drinking, I'm like finding joy in things that I like didn't find joy in before because I'm just like more present. So not to get deep, but
you can get deep.
Thanks for inspiring me.
Of course.
Okay, malls.
Okay, I think that's a great, talking about Dave & Buster's is a good example. We went to a mall to go to Dave & Buster's. We went to the Concord Mills Mall, and you know, mall culture is dying and whatnot, but I feel like in Charlotte, it's kind of popping. I feel like I go to the mall all the time.
I think like, yeah, like Charlotte suburbs, because like at South Park, okay, Megan researched like mall history and Hot Topic, and I researched Victoria's Secret, Forever 21, and Abercrombie.
Yeah.
So that's where we're coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I never go to the mall, but it's
Really?
just because I don't like it's just like I don't like anywhere where I have to walk really far from the parking lot to the place.
Well, I feel like I'm always finding myself at the mall because I don't drink. That's how I socialize with people. I don't know, shopping is just part of American culture too, so I feel like going to a hub where it's all stores is a big part.
Slay.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like the Charlotte mall scene is actually super popular, and there's always people at the malls.
Do you feel like more, because like I feel like whenever we go to South Park, it's like kind of dead, like the mall part, like everywhere else in South Park is busy, but so do you think it's more like suburb, like Concord and like Carolina Place or whatever, or do you just think in general it is busy and I don't know what I'm talking about?
I think it's much busier than small.
Okay, we're back. Sorry, my computer just randomly died, so we had some technical difficulties. But anywho.
So, what I was researching is that malls definitely started in like the 70s, and shopping, again, is very American, and there was no other option. Like, you couldn't shop online. There wasn't Amazon or anything. So people would go to malls and they would go shop, and it was a big family time. And then there's like so many movies about malls too, like
Paul
Mallrats.
Mall Club.
Oh, yep, Paul Blart. Chopping Mall, if you've...
No.
Deep cut. Even like Stranger Things, season 3 is about malls. So there's like so much culture in it, and has inspired so much
Mallsy.
conversation. Mallsy.
I actually don't know anything about that other than she was just singing.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Wait, do you know what's the backstory? She just like went to a mall one day, or
She was at the mall and they were like, hey, sing. And she said, where are you?
oh, so good.
Thanks. Anyway. But malls, the foundation of it is really, it starts with anchor stores. That's what they're called. So it's the big department stores that you associate with malls. JCPenney, Macy's, Belk's, old ones, Sears and Lord & Taylor. And that's really when malls started to die because Lord & Taylor and Sears shut down. So a lot of malls couldn't keep up because their big anchor stores shut down. So all the other smaller places
Didn't have traffic.
yeah, they didn't have foot traffic, and like there was just a lot of revenue coming from those places, and it made a lot of them go bankrupt. But at the height of malls, people would go there for entertainment. There would be like movie theaters, arcades, shopping, food courts, and like kids would go there to hang out and socialize because I mean, what else was there to do?
No, when I was a kid, like both my parents worked, so I would like every summer I would have a babysitter, and like I remember my favorite babysitters, they would just take me to the mall, and like we'd go to Victoria's Secret Pink, which we'll get into later. We'd go to Victoria's Secret Pink and Forever 21 and Abercrombie, and then we would go get bourbon chicken from this like teriyaki place in the mall, and it was like that's like would be like a big day.
Yeah. So like people grew up in malls, and then what I thought was interesting is that young kids couldn't spend a lot of time at malls anymore because in the 90s, instead of free range parenting, a lot of helicopter parents came into play because they saw one. Yeah, they saw all these like tragic events going on, and now they were at the age where they had kids and they could parent. So helicopter parenting became a big thing. So then kids couldn't just go to the mall and hang out. So then if kids weren't there, no one was shopping, and that was a big demographic of most malls. Like, they relied on kids to go shopping, eat food, just
spend their parents' money.
Yeah, exactly. So once kids stopped going, and then Amazon was created, people could go shop at home, and then the only other way you could really do that before, I don't want to say before the internet, but it was like catalogs, and it was a lot more difficult.
It's like clunky, yeah.
Yeah, so people would go for back to school shopping, but without the kids, well, what was there to do?
Yeah.
So, in the height of malls, there were like thousands of malls throughout.
What would you say
US.
the height of malls would be?
Like what
year?
year?
Years.
I don't know.
Like 2006?
No, definitely
or earlier.
Before that.
Okay.
So like from the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah. I feel like it was probably like mid 90s or like early 90s was maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't know, I wasn't alive.
They definitely like started to teeter out in the 2000s.
So like when we were growing up, it was like teetering.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it. I mean, COVID obviously had a big impact on it because everyone was relying on online sales, and malls had a lot of restrictions. But I think malls could come back because...
Yeah, like what do you think would have to happen for malls to come back? Someone actually like asked this in our little Instagram question box, but like what... Because I think about this a lot as a business owner of a brick and mortar retail location. Like, is brick and mortar dying? I don't think it's like ever gonna just like totally die, but like what is the future of brick and mortar retail, which again probably could be another episode, but like will malls come back in like an ironic nostalgia kind of way? Is it more like the little shopping centers like Atherton Mill vibes, or is it like just I don't know, Camp North End type things where it's like repurposed old buildings that are like charming and cute and have character and are more like localized and like specific to a certain area versus just like every mall you go to could be this, like you could be in a mall here and you wouldn't know that you were here versus like Philadelphia or something.
I mean, that is an open-ended question. I feel like there's so many different answers to that. I feel like all of them is the answer, like all of the above. As I was saying, like a lot of malls popped up, and what people have noticed is that because some malls can't keep up, they're shutting down, but there were so many malls per square foot in the US
Or capita
whatever
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Because some of them have started to die, other ones are thriving. So for example, in Charlotte, I say the malls are awesome and they're always busy because I go to the busy ones. I go to Concord Mills, I go to South Park. I have never been to North Lake except one single time. Carolina Place is kind of dead, but I feel like I spend a lot of time at Concord Mills, and it's always busy because they have a movie theater, they have a Dave & Buster's, they have a really big food court.
Dave & Buster's was popping on Saturday night.
Yeah, so because there are areas dying in malls, other ones have the opportunity to get bigger. And instead of having the anchor department stores, like Belk's and Macy's, because, you know, like Sears and Lord & Taylor went out of business, they're then relying on arcades like Dave & Buster's or even like water parks.
What mall has a water park?
Apparently a lot of them.
Actually, I think the Mall of America, so my grandparents are from Minnesota, and Mall of America, I think, has like a roller coaster. Have you been there?
I was literally just about to bring up Mall of America. Okay. Mall of America is one of the most top visited destination places in the US.
Which is crazy because I've gone to Minnesota like twice a year for my entire life. I've never been to Mall of America.
Really?
My mom hates malls.
Okay.
Wouldn't take me. Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so popular, because there are a bunch of like carnival rides there, and it's based off of Nickelodeon, I believe.
Yeah, because Nickelodeon I think is headquartered there, because my aunt lived there and worked for them. Yeah.
So Mall of America is still at its height. It has not died down at all, because they have attractions that's not just shopping. But if it's not just shopping, people will then shop, and then if they'll shop, they'll get hungry, and then they'll go to the food court. So it's like a big ecosystem within each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like some malls have to die for other ones to get
like I feel like we just
better.
don't need as many, because like the shopping options have been so diversified. So like there doesn't need to be one, like there could be like one per city and it would be fine.
Yeah. And in Wilmington, where I'm from, we have a mall. It's been dead for years. Like we would try to go, but it was just hard because nothing was there. But they're trying to revive it. They brought in a Dick's, which is another new anchor store that a lot of malls are depending on, because it's shopping, but it's like activewear. Our mall also has a Lidl in it.
Oh.
Yeah. But the hot spot in Wilmington is Mayfair, which is a strip mall.
It's like an outdoor mall.
Yeah. People, like, everybody in middle school gets dropped off there and just walk around. There's a big movie theater, stores, restaurants. I feel like that, to answer your question earlier, what is the future? Who knows? It could be all of the above.
It was just like random shit.
Yeah. But like malls have been dying, but I feel like they could come back.
I think they have to, like, I think in order to come back, they have to, like, adapt to what people want and, like, play on the nostalgia of it all. And I don't know if the people currently leading malls get that, because I feel like it's old men, and I don't think old men have the pulse on anything.
I feel like that also relates to like, Hot Topic in the stores that we're going to discuss.
Because do you want to talk about Hot Topic, or, like, okay.
I want you to talk first.
Okay, so I started researching, and, like, some of this stuff I, like, kind of already knew. Sorry, hold on. So I think that, okay, I'm trying to decide if I want to talk, which one I want to talk about first, because, like, they kind of play into each other. Okay, well, speaking of, like, a lot of stuff closing in malls, I want to talk about first Forever 21, because I think that their come up is kind of interesting, and I feel like I didn't know about it until I started looking into this, but basically, like, they were started in 1984 in LA, and it was a Korean couple. They were immigrants, and they had $11,000, and they opened a store in, I think, Highland Park, whatever, it doesn't matter, somewhere in LA, and they called it, like, I think it was called Fashion 21, and they, like, the main thing they did differently was, like, everywhere online says they weren't the first people to do fast fashion, but I think they just, like, did it the best. And, like, so they would basically, like, copy the runway trends and get them really cheap. And, like, the woman in the couple, like, the wife in the couple was, like, really good at, like, seeing the trends and researching and, like, being able to, like, order them really fast and get them made really fast. Like, they first started working with factories in LA and then eventually, like, moved it overseas, but, like, she wouldn't order that much of anything. She would order only, like, a few units of these things, so it would feel, like, really unique. And I don't know how they were able to charge such low prices. Like, I think they just used, like, synthetic materials, where, like, back then everyone was, like, valued, like, cotton and or natural
I mean,
materials.
in the 80s is when synthetic materials boomed.
Yeah, and she was like, I think she was like one of the first to do that. So she was like, okay, let's do this. They did $700,000 in their first year business out of a 900 square foot space, which is crazy. And they blah 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 blah. So basically, like, they kept moving on. They were like growing, whatever, and then like around the recession, so like 2007, 2008. A lot of those anchor stores that you're talking about in malls shut down because of the financial crisis, and they hopped on that. So basically, they like got all that real estate of the anchor stores and all these different malls. Like they had like 800 stores, I think. But which was the one that I wrote down? Oh yeah, it was Mervyn's.
Okay.
I had never heard of Mervyn's, but apparently like when Mervyn's left, they like replaced all the Mervyns. And so they were like all like a bunch of their stores were like 35,000 square feet, which is 10 times the size of our store.
Yeah.
More than that. So they were like massive stores. So like, and another reason that they became so popular, because they were doing pretty well, but it was like really the early 2000s where they like totally took off. And the reason really is because like there were kind of like 4 tiers of fashion, where like the top tier is like your high-end designer brands. The next tier is like department stores like Nordstrom, whatever, Lord and Taylor back then. And then a tier below is like your mall brands, so like Express, like Chico's, Abercrombie, like the ones where like getting a shirt back then would be like $70.
Yeah.
And then below that was like cheapo fast fashion, like Wet Seal, Forever 21, I think H&M. And like the reason they took off is because like during the financial crisis, like everyone had pretty much been shopping that like third tier of like the mall brands that were like kind of expensive, but in like the grand scheme of things, like not designer or anything. So like the middle class people, like middle and upper middle class people who were buying those like third tier brands were like, oh, I don't have any money anymore. So we're gonna go to Forever 21 because it's cute, it's really trendy, it's cheaper. Yeah, the quality is not as good, but like I don't really care. And that's kind of what like people, because of the financial crisis, moved to stores like Forever 21. Forever 21 exploded, and then everyone kind of started copying them. Like the people who didn't copy them went out of business. So like that's why you'll see now like these brands that in the early 2000s were a little bit nicer, like the quality's gone down a lot because they realize people just want like cheap shit and want a lot of it. So like that's where that kind of flip happened. And then, as we know, they went bankrupt. But they actually first went bankrupt in 2019. And basically like it was because they like didn't prioritize e-commerce. So like by 2019, e-commerce is like pretty big, really big. And only 16% of their revenue was e-commerce. And then like COVID hit and they were just like fuckity fucked. And like they also just like didn't really adapt that well. Like I feel like the stereotype we see online is like there, you find like a cute jean jacket from Forever 21, but like on the back it says like bestie in like sequins or something like that. So they didn't really adapt with that. They like went to too many categories. Like they were doing like men's, like except like I don't know, like beauty, and like they were like doing too many random different things. So they had so much inventory because their stores were so big and like so many different SKUs that it just like became like they weren't like doing anything that well. And then they just kind of fell off because like that coupled with like Shein and like all the like H&M growing, and like I'd say H&M is like the most comparable probably to them, where it's like trendy and cheap. So that's how they kind of fell off. And then as we know, this year they like totally closed everything and sold all their stores. But like I feel like they were such a staple of like 2008 through 2013 like mall culture, and like that's where I would go to shop when I was a kid, because it was like the only place I could like I would usually have like my mom would give me like $30 whenever I went to the mall and I would go there. And I remember like I think I was in 6th grade when like I got like a zip hoodie from them because my friend's older sister, who was like 5 or 6 years older, was like, oh yeah, this is where I get all my clothes. And she was like going to college. So
it was the only store that carried plus size that was for like a younger audience. Yeah. So that's where I went.
Well, and even to this day, like their stuff, I feel like their plus stuff is cute that we get in. And like I think, yeah, the quality's also like, this is a total side note, but like because we go through so much clothing, like we really see the brands that like are good quality and the ones that aren't. And like, yeah, Forever 21's not that good quality, but like it's kind of on par with like so many other brands. Like,
agreed.
Like it, like Princess Polly. Like,
Exactly.
like any of those brands that maybe are a little bit more expensive, like it all like feels the same to me. So that's Forever 21. What I found the most interesting is just like how they became so popular in like the 2000s. But
so you believe the reason why they shut down is because they didn't rely on e-commerce, and then when COVID happened,
yeah, so like they didn't really,
tanked.
And they were just like doing too much pretty much. Like they were just like if you go to H&M, like they have a lot of stuff, but they don't have like that many different styles. Where Forever 21, it would just be like so many different ones, like thousands of SKUs. And like I just think they were going in too many directions. They weren't doing a lot with e-commerce, and like they had competition at this point versus like before they were like kind of the only one.
I feel like they were kind of grasping for straws at the very end when they were trying to do collabs with a bunch of different things. They did a Barbie collab, they did Hello Kitty, they did Beetlejuice. I feel like they were always trying to find something that was hot and trending.
Yeah.
To like keep people entertained.
Like stay relevant, yeah. So yeah, like I don't know. Rip Forever 21.
Forever 21.
But like kind of along that same line, like when I was researching this, I found that like so many of the staple mall brands are owned by like the same fucking people.
Girl.
I think that's
monopolies aren't allowed.
I think that's just America. But like, so okay. Okay, now getting into Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
But to understand Victoria's Secret, you have to understand Les Wexner, who he was Jeffrey Epstein's biggest like primary client.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like of financial management. So basically, Les Wexner is a billionaire out of Columbus, Ohio, who was he was the owner, I don't know if he was the founder, whatever. He was in charge of L Brands, which owned Victoria's Secret, The Limited, Abercrombie, Bath and Body Works, and The Limited owns Limited too. There were more.
Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, no, literally that song is like some dude in Ohio. Yeah, so he like invented it to be this like fantasy, whatever, creepazoid. Like he was Jeffrey Epstein's biggest, so he's worth $10 billion. He was Jeffrey Epstein's like main client from 1987 to 2007. That's 20 years. And like this man is making like lingerie, and then he's starting this company called Pink to target teens, like tweens. And they basically like the marketing rule is you want to market to like you want to like pretend like you're marketing to 5 years older than the group you actually want to get. So like they made Victoria's Secret Pink very like college-y. Like I don't know if you remember like the college pennants or like when you go in it would feel like a college dorm room, but that was to like market to tweens. So that it was essentially like grooming tweens so that they would become Victoria's Secret customers when they were older. And like it kind of worked for a while.
Did work.
Like I was wearing those sweatpants with pink on the butt, but I
have a pair of those right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Like from the early 2000s or from recent?
No, recent.
Okay. Yeah, like so basically like Victoria's Secret was started I think in like 70s or 80s, but Pink was started in 2002, and like I said, it was like to attract teenage girls. It was more like loungewear, sweat sets, like underwear with like funny graphics on them versus like the sexy lingerie. So it was more like funny play, ha ha ha. And again, the guy who was like over Pink is named Stuart like Bergdorfer, and so it was all men in charge of this. And basically like they started coupling the Pink stores with like they made them next to each other because they wanted that person to start there and then go over to Victoria's Secret, which like I literally did. Like I did that. And so basically like they had a slogan in 2013 called Bright Young Things, which parents got really mad because that's like really pedophile-y. Yeah. And basically at the end of the day, everyone's pedophiles. But anyways, so like into like the 2010s, Pink was carrying Victoria's Secret essentially. Like it was like a really big chunk of their revenue. It was growing way faster than Victoria's Secret was. Up until like 2017, 2018, and that's when it kind of started to fall off. And I think it was like a lot of different factors, kind of like the rise of e-commerce, like we talked about before, like malls starting to die, but then also like that's right around Me Too, where like and like I don't think that many people knew like their CEO was so intertwined with Epstein, but like I think the vibe of their entire marketing isn't hitting anymore. Like the like bombshell, like male gaze. Like they didn't really pivot it. They didn't move to anything more inclusive. Like it took them forever to start doing anything inclusive at all. And I think that like kind of made people be like, eh. And then people also like weren't really wearing like sweatsuits anymore, like on the pink side of things. Like that started to decline because people weren't wearing like graphic sweats. They were wearing like Lululemon, Athleisure, Outdoor Voices, like those kind of brands that were really coming up in like the late 2010s. And so it just like started to decline. They eventually like sold it off for like whatever. They were like trying to sell it to private equity, but then sold to someone else. It doesn't matter. They like, I remember at one point, like a few years ago, they were like trying to turn around and did a collab with Megan Rapinoe. And they were like trying to turn around their image, but I don't really feel like, I feel like they like kind of gave up.
Yeah.
But
it was it Love Shack Fancy, or there's some higher end brand that did a collab with Victoria's Secret that we got in.
Oh.
And I believe it was Love Shack Fancy.
It might have been.
And it was like more of a low for Love and Lemons. Yep.
Interesting.
And it was actually really cute, and I feel like maybe that's something else they were trying to get people in.
I feel like it never really hit. And I also think like along the lines too of like pink declining and like activewear rising, like we get a lot of pink activewear. Like they try to do like leggings and stuff, and I also feel like it was like a little bit too late. It was like fine, but it wasn't the aesthetic. Like their aesthetic, we talked about this in our last episode, but like the Spring Breakers, like 2010s neon, like that was very much their vibe. Like it was so, because their rise was like literally during that period. Gigi Hadid wore like a neon pink, not neon the color pink, but like a neon pink branded outfit at the 2015 Victoria's Secret fashion show, and that was like a really big deal that she did that. And like Selena Gomez, back to Spring Breakers. So like I think they were so that, and they didn't really pivot to the like, again, if you think like late 2015 to 2020, it was like that's when Outdoor Voices had their rise. That's when Set Active, like all these brands that are like more like muted and like minimalist chic, like athleisure, rose up, and they didn't adapt to that.
And we can blame the Kardashians on that.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like actual Victoria's Secret, same thing. Like it just kind of like they didn't adapt with the times
Do you think they're going to follow Forever 21's footsteps soon?
I don't know, because I feel like it's hard to say. I'm not good at predicting stuff like this, but like I think that they have to, again, I think if they like fired everyone that worked there, like the leadership, and brought in like some like younger women or something to like, I think you would have to make it like cunty and campy and like play on the nostalgia, but like acknowledge like the elephant in the room, because I feel like they never acknowledge like what they really did. And I feel like if they just acknowledge it, I think it could be cool if they could do an Abercrombie type thing. I just like, will they? I think it's like really, I think from the outside looking in, it's like, oh yeah, just do this. But like, I don't know, when you're in that big of a company that's like been around for that long and has been led by that type of person, it's like, I think, hard to change. So
I feel like there is a lot of competition now, just like Forever 21. If I ever hear someone say they're going to Victoria's Secret, they're always getting a gift for like a bridal party, because it's a lingerie shop in person they can go quickly buy from.
Yeah, but and it's like always at the mall. It's at every mall.
But now there's Fenty and Vought, and honestly Amazon. There are so many other places that are more cute in the lingerie
Thrift Pony vintage lingerie section.
Right. There are a lot of competitors now, and I think the only upside that Victoria's Secret has is that it is in person and you can go in and buy it really quickly. But a lot of people don't really want that anymore.
Yeah, like they don't really care. Sorry, Taylor's here. But yeah, so like kind of a segue from there, from Victoria's Secret Pink being founded by like this guy who's literally a pedophile, to like get, or not, I don't want to call him a pedophile because I don't know, but like
pervert.
Yeah, he ran in circles. Like, I don't know, what kind of business do you have making things for young girls?
Yeah.
But anyways, so this guy who's like Epstein's primary client owns this brand doing Victoria's Secret Pink for like teen girls. Then I guess rewind in time, Limited 2.
love Limited Too.
Okay, well, this man owns Limited too. Well, he owns L Brands, which owns the Limited, the Limited owns Limited too. So there's like a lot of levels, but basically like there wasn't that much I found on Limited too that was like that interesting. Good morning.
Good morning.
Taylor's here. So like there wasn't a ton, honestly. Like it was just founded in like the late 80s as a company under the Limited for like tweens, and then it like became more like younger than tweens almost, because I feel like when I was shopping there I was like 8.
I was in elementary school.
Yeah. And then in 2004 they launched Justice, but like Limited 2 still existed, and then like in 2008 they closed Limited 2, I think, for the recession, and then Justice like kind of moved out of malls and moved into like Walmart and was just like its own brand. So kind of same thing of like 2008 is when like things started to change. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of crazy that like all the brands, and Abercrombie segue to Abercrombie's also owned by the L Brands.
Okay.
I don't know if they still are, but they like were, at one point all these were, and like they may have broken off, but like isn't that kind of crazy?
I'm not surprised.
Like this one, they were all by this one man. Like all the stores that would make you have like body image issues were all owned by the same man. Like that's crazy. Do you want me to get into Abercrombie, Hollister, Aeropostale, American Eagle, the Holy Trinity?
Yeah, I would really like to hear this, because we talked about two businesses that have started to fail or have failed, and I feel like they're going back up.
Well, I want to talk about the dichotomy between Hollister, Abercrombie, Aeropostale, and American Eagle, because that was my core 4. Like when I would go to the mall, I would like hit those 4.
Okay.
And it's interesting to see what's happened to them since then. So Abercrombie was started first. It's like the oldest one, I think. Actually, don't quote me on any of that.
No, I believe it's like from
It's
what,
old.
the 60s, 70s?
Yeah, it's old. Whatever. I actually like didn't look that far back because I watched the documentary a while ago. I feel like everyone's seen that. It doesn't matter. I want to focus more on like how they've evolved since like our childhood, because I don't care about anything before that because that wasn't born. But anywho, okay, this is something I thought was really funny. So Abercrombie was started whenever back then. In 2000, Hollister was founded. They created a fake story. So Hollister was started by Abercrombie. They created a fake story that this man named John Hollister created it in 1922. That's why all the Hollister stuff says 1922. To create the lifestyle of like a California like surfer bro. First of all, Hollister is a farm town in California. Like it's not a surfing town. Second of all, this man is fake. It was created in 2000 in Columbus, Ohio.
I wonder if it's because Abercrombie and Fitch, both of those names are actual names. I wonder if they saw the success from their stores and were like, okay, let's.
I think they did that because like I was on Reddit and this girl said she like worked for Gilly Hicks, which was like another one of their brands, and they were like, yeah, they like told us this fake story. Like it's not even like they tell you it's a fake story to like tell customers. It's like they told their employees that this is a story that like this woman named Gilly Hicks like came from the Netherlands and like whatever. Which I think is so funny. They just like invented it. But yeah, so like Abercrombie was like the more like preppy, like northeastern, and then Hollister was like their California like surfer style, which I think is interesting because like when I was in high school, like I couldn't really tell that much of a difference. Like they both were just like cool kid stores.
Okay.
Like Hollister I could tell was California, but I guess I feel like the difference wasn't that stark there. But like what I think is kind of interesting how like Abercrombie totally evolved and Hollister just like kind of died out. But I think it's because they like somewhere separated, so like they're not owned by each other anymore. Like they're at least like the leadership is different or whatever. Because Abercrombie is like going so strong. Like everyone loves Abercrombie. We get so much Abercrombie in here. It's always really cute. The quality probably isn't as good as it used to be, but like as far as like these newer brands go, like I think everything's shittier. So like in comparison, it's like still pretty good. It's always really cute. Whereas comparison, like when's the last time you saw a Hollister thing come through the store?
Last time I saw it in the store is when Baby Bella was wearing it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so I feel like it just is like the forgotten like little brother, little sister of Abercrombie. But like even when I was in high school, I feel like Abercrombie was like the cooler one, and then Hollister was like still cool but like slightly less cool, or like just slightly less. Like Abercrombie was like the kingpin.
I mean, preppy was in then.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I lived on the East Coast, so maybe that's why. But like I remember the denim of it all. Like, okay, I don't know if this was like prevalent when you were a kid, but like the butt embroidery of jeans at these 4 different stores were like a status symbol. So like the Abercrombie one is almost like a it's not like a fish, but it's like I'll put it up on the YouTube. The Hollister one was like these like arched kind of like V things on the side. The American Eagle one, which it still is today, is like this like kind of like check mark with like a line. And then Aeropostale, I forget what it was, but if I saw, I'll put it up here and here. And so they were all different. So like I remember specifically being in like elementary school, middle school, and like looking at people's butts and being like, you have the Abercrombie ones.
Wow.
You have this. And then if they didn't have anything on their butt, I'm like, they probably got from like Target or something. And it was very much like a status symbol. And which I thought was so interesting because like to this day, of those 4 brands, connecting back to current times, which one has the most like popular jeans of those 4?
I'd say Abercrombie.
No, American Eagle.
American Eagle.
How many do you think how many American Eagle jeans we get in here?
We get a lot of Abercrombie too.
I guess we get Abercrombie because of like the modern day ones, but like I feel like American Eagle kind of withstood the test of time where they like stayed steady.
Okay.
Like, okay, I also do this thing. There's this thing you can search where it's like Google analytic trends, and you can search the history of like the search volume of like Google. So like I looked at like Abercrombie, and it was like it peaked in like 2011.
Okay.
And then like went back down, and like same with, or like they like totally went to the bottom and then like peaked again like kind of like recently. Whereas Hollister like peaked back then and kind of just like fell off, and same with like Aeropostale, I think. And then American Eagle has kind of stayed steady. Like, it never really fell off.
I've been too big girl to shop at any of these stores, so I guess I'm not the best person to answer.
Have you seen all the American Eagle shit right now that's happening?
No.
Oh my god. They're like getting, which is, I think is so funny, because I was trying to figure out like, why did Abercrombie and Hollister fall off so hard, where American Eagle like never really fell off. Like, it wasn't as popular as Abercrombie in the beginning, but it just like kind of stayed steady. And it was like, I was Googling it, and it was like, they like listened to the customers more. They didn't like, I feel like Abercrombie was so aspirational and American Eagle was like a little more like friendly, whatever. They like had inclusive sizing, it said. They did brand activism and adapted to the fall of mall culture, where they like put stores in shopping centers and not just malls, where Abercrombie was just in malls, which is why I think this whole Sydney Sweeney situation right now is so interesting. So, okay, you haven't seen any of this.
I've seen people are making fun of Sydney Sweeney's commercial.
Yeah, like basically she did a commercial for American Eagle jeans, and everyone's like, oh, it's eugenics. Like, it's her basically being like, I have really good jeans. But it's like really sexual and like very like zoomed in on like her boobs and her butt and her eyes, which is why I think it's so interesting, because like that's so like what Abercrombie was doing. And it's like weird to me that American Eagle like chooses right now to do that, because I feel like it's just like not the time. And like I don't know if this was just like a ploy to piss a lot of people off so people would be talking about them, or if they like genuinely thought it was a good idea. But like, to me, when I was researching like when I was looking into like why Abercrombie Hollister totally fell off, American Eagle didn't, it was because they were like not doing all that shit. But now they're doing it. Like, I don't know.
That is interesting.
So yeah, like maybe they just missed the mark, or maybe they're like maybe there was something like deeper that they're trying to do.
Okay.
But I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I thought was the most interesting, because like in my mind, and like I don't know what the fuck happened to Aeropostale. I feel like it like kind of is lumped in with like Wet Seal, where it's just like cunty. Like when you see that stuff now, it's like, ooh, like Y2K, like but it's like you wouldn't ever go there now.
Yeah,
it's like their old stuff is,
except my sister.
Really? She was Aeropostale? Do they even exist? Oh, okay. Shout out Sydney.
Let's talk about Hot Topic.
Wait, that's so interesting though that you never, like, I guess it makes sense that you never shopped at like Abercrombie and Hollister.
I remember the first time I bought something that was in like adult sizes was a pair of American Eagle jeans, and I felt so grown up, and it was really expensive. I really shopped at Forever 21 because they only had the plus size section.
Yeah, and I guess like you kind of touched on this, but like your experience, because were you like plus size as a kid? Like I know you were, but like was that like, was your size considered plus size?
No.
Okay. Like
I would, when I was a kid, I'd be shopping in the junior section.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I guess like your experience with mall stores and mall culture as a plus size kid, like how did that shape, like what was that like?
I mean, I was shopping at Justice and stuff, but I was shopping their bigger sizes.
Yeah.
Or like the juniors and like JCPenney and stuff like that. There wasn't a plus size. There's not plus size for little kids.
Yeah.
I just had to go up to the adult.
Did you, like, were there, like, Abercrombie Holsters at your mall, or was that, like, past the time?
There was, but I couldn't fit it.
Did Sydney shop there? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My sisters shop there all the time.
Did you feel, like, sad that you couldn't go there, or were you like, whatever, I don't care, I'll go to Justice? Like, where you lived, was it, like, a big deal?
I had a very eclectic style
Yeah.
then, so I didn't really want to shop there.
Ooh, we can, on the YouTube, we can put up that picture of you in your, like...
My cheetah outfit.
arm... Megan has this outfit of her, it's so cute, of you in, like, cheetah arm warmers, or...
Yeah, it was a Justice outfit. It was pink, and there were, like, cheetah ruffles, and it had butterflies on it, and there were matching arm warmers. It was definitely a top or tunic, but I wore it as a short dress, and my butt was always hanging out. They let me go to school in that and everything, but it was one of my favorite outfits.
So you've always been a little quirky
Yeah.
with your fashion?
Yeah.
I love that.
Let's talk about Hot Topic.
Yeah, Hot Topic.
So, just think about the name, Hot Topic. What's hot? What's the topic?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that is a dead giveaway of the business as a whole. And a lot of people are like, oh, I miss old Hot Topic. I'm going to talk about it. But, come on, you gotta think about the name. You gotta think about capitalism and, like, they're doing something right.
When did Hot Topic start? Like,
So,
was it...
Hot Topic started in the 80s.
Okay.
It was a purely accessory store. They didn't have any clothing. It was, like, earrings, belts, hats.
Like Spencer's?
Well, Spencer's is, like, part of Hot Topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Hot Topic was first, and it was a bunch of accessories. And then, a lot of, like, post-punk and a different subculture started to pop up. So it was a couple that owned it, and they started going towards this subculture, getting a little bit more grungier. They started having platform boots. They started wearing, like, bringing some clothes in. And then in the 90s, when grunge and this subculture became popular, they leaned heavily into it. So that's why you think this, like, gothic, grungy, emo
Band
aesthetic.
tee.
That's where Hot Topic came from.
Okay.
And then in the 90s, they changed their logo. They had those big
Like the
iron,
drippy letters.
They had the big iron, like, gates up front, or the tunnel for the entrance of the store. Everything was dark. And in this, I watched this YouTube video. I can't remember her name. She did a great deep dive of Hot Topic, and she called this the second era. So in the second era, they were really focused on this subculture and grunge, because it was the height of it in the 90s, like from Nirvana, and, like, they focused, their, like, slogan was all about the music. So they had the infamous wall, or infamous is bad, famous, what is it?
Infamous.
Okay, infamous wall of band tees. So you could go in there and find tees and shop it. So they were focusing on the music. They were focusing on this aesthetic, and it was really for the people who didn't shop at Abercrombie or Hollister or
It was like the opposite.
yeah. So it was like for the people.
Oh, you're not wearing double polo with a pop collar. You can come over here.
Yep. And, like, that's where the subculture or the category of goth called mall goths came from.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Were you kind of goth at all growing up, or no?
My dad said, "Don't go goth, don't go goth."
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to. But yeah, so they were really focused on, like, the music, and they had a lot of bands come and do sets in stores. They had press tours. They hosted a lot. for media. They had like the Harry Potter cast come when the movies were out, and they even had like Twilight come out. And I feel like what I noticed when you were saying in the 2008, the recession, all these stores really started to go down. I feel like that was what helped Hot Topic go up, because
I feel like they either went down or up.
they needed something to bring people together, and entertainment was it. So people loved music, people loved movies, they loved books, and Twilight came out and Hot Topic was like, we're snatching on this, like we are hopping on this bandwagon and we're draining this. So they were really about music first, and then they started turning to Twilight and started using that for publicity. They would have like cast signings, they would have Paramore come and sing songs at the malls for the album.
Imagine like being in 2012 and meeting Robert Pattinson in a Hot Topic.
Oh my god. But it was like the exact target audience of who Hot Topic was, and I don't know, the customers. But then at this time, Twilight was so popular with like kind of everybody that it wasn't as this scary aesthetic as Hot Topic was known as, and people were like, we're too afraid to go in there.
Yeah, I
all
was
the
afraid to go in there.
normies that like shopped at Hollister wouldn't go in. So they did a big rebrand in 2008 or 2007. So it was more lighter. They painted the walls a lighter color. They got rid of their gates. It was just more welcoming. But then after Twilight and stuff in 2010, they did a new logo, and they kind of got rid of the all about the music idea, because they wanted to be about pop culture.
Yeah.
So a lot of people argue it's like a Disney store now, because
Someone was like, how did it become a Disney adult store? And I was like, oh, I haven't been in a while.
I feel like the argument makes sense that they're too focused on like other pop culture, because they have a lot of Disney stuff in there. They have Hello Kitty, they have a lot of anime and like other, I like to call it nerd stores, because that's like my favorite place to go into. I like to call it a nerd store. They have a bunch of like nerdy stuff in there, and I understand how people don't like that, and they wish it was more of the goth emo scene, but I think you have to keep in mind that that's not as popular anymore.
I also think those people like aren't really going to malls, where like kind of probably similar to Forever 21, they were like grasping at things to keep them relevant, and like they found it with like the Disney adult community and like I'm sure that like their mall or their goth customers like weren't really coming as much, because either they like grew up and kind of fell off, or like it just wasn't the place anymore, and so then they were like, okay, well we need something, so they like kind of pivoted that way.
I don't even think it's like that. I think, contrary to everything else you've said about these other stores, they have stayed with the times. They have really focused on what the customers want and what is going on in society, what's the hot topic, and like really is focusing on consumerism. So like Nirvana is one of the highest selling bands of all time, but it was really a status symbol. I can talk about that forever, but it was a status symbol for people. So the grunge aesthetic was super popular, and like My Chemical Romance and like Panic at the Disco, those are super popular bands that everybody knows. It doesn't matter like who you are. People like to pretend like that music or that aesthetic category was so underground. It wasn't. It was super popular. They were in big time magazines. They were on.
I listened to My Chemical Romance. I was like the least goth person.
No, exactly. So like people like to pretend that this subculture was hidden and underground, but it was just not super pop culture. Like
I think it was popular, it just wasn't Abercrombie. It was like popular to a different group of people, but it wasn't, I wouldn't even say it was like less popular. It was just like, it was all the people who didn't fit in with the Abercrombie vibe went over there.
Exactly. And I feel like it's still how that is now. A lot of people who are into this like subculture, it is like Asian influences of like anime and like K-pop and stuff like that. So I feel like
I guess that's like what punk was in the 90s. That's
Yeah,
now,
it's
kind of
what it is now.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
someone might yell at me for saying that, but whatever.
I mean, that's just how it is. I feel like Hot Topic has stayed true to itself in that front. Maybe they're not as alternative as they used to be. Obviously not. But the culture isn't either.
Yeah.
And there's other places people can get alternative clothing that are like more local or I don't know. I just think I'm not going to talk too much about it because I feel like it's very opinionated too.
Yeah.
But objectively, Hot Topic has always looked out for their customer base and always has stayed true to itself and been a location for outsiders to feel comfortable in, and I feel like it's still that place. And there are some alternative stuff in there, and there's still music and band merch that people can relate to and like go in and buy. Like kids can still go in there and get a Pierce the Veil shirt. Like it's not completely gone, but you just have to look at the surrounding area and understand that it's not the same.
It's really beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, to wrap us up, because it's 10:59 and the store's opening in 1 minute, what's the clothing item that you are this week?
Oh God.
We do these every week and I never think of them ahead of time.
I know. I'm going to Lollapalooza this week and I'm really, really nervous. So a pair of granny panties because I might poop my pants.
Okay. Mine is... Okay, mine is this pair of vintage boxer shorts with hearts on them. I think they're from like the 80s or 90s. And it's just because it's all I've been wearing in my house because it's so hot. But also because I'm adaptable. Like, okay, right now my life is kind of chaotic. Like a pair of boxer shorts with hearts on them. But like, I'm adapting. And I'm finding the positive in it. Because I just don't feel like being in a bad mood right now. So I'm gonna just have fun with it. Kind of like a pair of old underwear. We're both underwear this week.
Yay!
Also, like, okay, if this somehow reaches anyone who did go to any of like the Twilight meet and greets at a Hot Topic, can you please let us know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Let us know. I want to see pictures.
And maybe you can come on the podcast. I don't know. We just want to know what it feels like to be God's favorite. Anywho, anything else from you, Megan? Well, anyways, thanks for joining us in the Ponyverse. We love you guys.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Go shop at your mall.
Or don't. Or come to Thrift Pony instead.